Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Beefer, and today I want to talk about sports betting. Since its legalization in May of 2018, there have been many stories of great success as well as tragic failure. The story that I want to highlight today tends to fall within the latter. The name Ludwig is no stranger to the ears of a YouTube consumer. He's a household name. He's a phenomenal creator, and I highly recommend you watch him whenever you get the chance. But despite him being such a great YouTube mind, even he is susceptible to the addiction that can be found within the sports gambling world. A little over a week ago, Ludwig had actually posted a video highlighting a story that happened about 2 months prior to the release of that video, that he had been scammed for over $100,000. Now, the story starts where Ludwig says that he was actually part of a poker tournament that had professional players as well as popular content creators like XQC, Ninja, and Mr. Beast. The tournament had a $100,000 buy-in, which I can't even imagine just having $100K in disposable income. But despite the massive buy-in, Ludwig actually won the tournament, and he won $300,000. And right off the bat, the story actually gets pretty shady. Ludwig was paid half in cash, so $150K in cash, and then $150K in a check. It actually seems that Ludwig let his intrusive thoughts win, because he ended up keeping $100K out of the bank while depositing the remaining $200K. But he put the money to good use. He was giving massive tips. He gave like a multi-$1,000 tip to the people that came and cleaned his home. He gave like $1,000 tip to a restaurant that he really liked. The story picks up sometime later when Ludwig was actually approached by one of his childhood friends. He was actually getting married, and the wedding was to be held in Vegas. So naturally, Ludwig, being a nice guy, and obviously it's one of his childhood best friends, so he flies out to Vegas. But right before he steps out of the door to go to the airport and fly to Vegas, he says that he turned around and he saw the money sitting there, and he's like, I'm gonna take about half of that. Me personally, I don't like traveling anywhere with a lot of cash. It's just I don't trust people that much. But whew, Luddy buddy, that is brazen, my friend. I can't imagine carrying around heck $100 let alone about like $50K. Once Ludwig actually got to Vegas, he actually gave his friend $5,000 as a sort of wedding gift, which, hey, I wish I had friends like that, man. I got some amazing friends, but obviously none of us are like loaded like that, but that's pretty cool. So that was pretty much all the money that he put to good use, because the remaining $45K was thrown to the wind. It was essentially just gambled away. He was losing hand after hand after hand. I think he said the first game he played was a roulette game, and he put however much on black, and sure enough, the color was red, and half of the bankroll that he was carrying with him was down the drain. At some point, he actually only had about $20,000 on him. It was at this point he went to a blackjack table, which is preferably my game of choice. I like blackjack. It's the one where you can actually get somewhat of an edge on the house. Every other game, it's like you're just rolling a dice essentially. But he goes to the blackjack table with the goal of getting his bankroll back to 50K, which is a lofty goal. I didn't see it as a likely occurrence, but he had that confidence in him. As far as the outcome of trying to get that bankroll back up, I'll actually let him tell you how it went.
And the last day I had $20,000, and I went to a blackjack table, and I had one goal: bring it all the way back to 50,000. And you know what I did? I brought it all the way back to 50,000 dimes, aka $5,000. I lost $15,000 almost within like 30 minutes. It was actually crazy.
As you can see, or as you just saw, it didn't go all that well. So after that, he goes to a Pai Gow table, which I don't know what Pai Gow is. It's some type of game, but he described it as a game where you don't lose a lot of money, but you don't earn a lot of money. It's a sort of game where you're just there to sit, have drinks. He said free drinks, but let's be real here. You're not really getting anything for free at a casino unless you're losing money there. But you get free drinks, and you're just there to chill and sulk in your own failure, I guess. While he was at this table, he actually met this sort of voice actor, professional sports gambling, like Renaissance man type guy. And the guy actually said that he could help Ludwig with sports betting of all things. So after a brief exchange, the guy actually says, hey, I have this other person who gives people money or gives people free stuff when they lose all their money gambling. If your red flags are immediately going off now, then you're reacting in the right way, because I don't even know, not to critique Ludwig, I mean, he's a smart guy, he just got caught up in the moment, I'm assuming, but if somebody walks up to me and says, hey, I have this guy that can give you free stuff, no strings attached, for no reason, I'm just like, yeah, no, because you're either a loan shark, I don't know, a mafia boss. Obviously I'm being a little bit hyperbolic here, but nothing good can come from a random act of kindness to that extent, in my opinion. But to the guy's credit, Ludwig's bankroll was able to get back up to about 15K. All seemed to be going well. You know, Ludwig eventually was like, hey, time to wrap it up. I'm gonna go do whatever I do. I'm in Vegas, blah, blah, blah. But when Ludwig said this next part, I almost like shrieked. I was like, why?
So right before I left Las Vegas, I gave him $6,000 because that's how much I had at the very, very end.
Bruh, like 6K? I'll give him like, here's $5. Do what you can with it. You know, I'm not, come on, dog. Like, whew. After a few weeks of seeing the money sort of like fluctuate up and down, the guy actually hits up Ludwig with this sort of excuse that a huge storm came through Vegas, shut down a couple of the casinos, and at that time, the casinos weren't accepting any sports bets. And the guy actually asks Ludwig for money in crypto. And I'm like, dude, I'm not giving anybody just like 6K in cash, let alone crypto. It's just, it gets too sketchy at that point. But I'm not Ludwig. I don't know what his state of mind was at that point. He eventually gave the guy more money in crypto. I think this highlights like a massive issue with gambling or just quick money in general, because when you're dealing with quick money, specifically gambling, you're not really chasing a set amount of money. You're not chasing, hey, I want to profit from my bankroll. So if I go in there with like, I don't know, $100, if I end the night with like $150, oh, that's a win. Now you're actually chasing individual successes. It's crazy because you can lose, but then you win once, and then immediately you completely forget about all those losses, and then you continue to lose, and you're just chasing that win. The amount of losses doesn't matter. It's just you're chasing that sort of dopamine hit of, oh my god, success. Even though it's a net failure, those individual successes are more desirable. So anyway, the sports bettor, like I said earlier, gets money from Ludwig and puts down, I think it was like a $40,000 bet on the I think the Women's Pro Open tennis match or whatever, something like that. And apparently Ludwig ends up winning the bet, and he was up around 118K. That's what this sports bettor guy, Grayson, I think is his name, told him. So obviously this is a massive emotional spike Ludwig is experiencing at this point. And some time passes, and I don't mean to laugh, but the Grayson guy hits up Ludwig saying, hey, I've been mugged, all this nonsense, trying to give excuses as to why he cannot pay Ludwig at this point. And eventually Ludwig realizes he's been had. He's been scammed. And it's crazy. I know I've repeated this point throughout the video, but I consider Ludwig a pretty intelligent guy. I don't know him personally, but he comes off as a very smart person. And if somebody like him is susceptible to stuff like gambling addiction or just the manipulation you can experience while being in Vegas, what does that say for the rest of us? Or like I never want to go to Vegas. Obviously, I'm joking. I would love to go to Vegas at some point in my life, but I don't think I should carry any money with me. But yeah, that is an insane story. I don't think Ludwig is super strapped for cash. I mean, 100K is 100K. Don't get me wrong. Like, to you and me, if we lost 100K, that's the end of us. For somebody like Ludwig, fortunately, he's in a position to where 100K isn't the absolute end of the world. Sure, it hurts. It sucks. But thankfully, he seems to be handling it really well. Surprisingly well. So I mean, if you want to scale it down to the average person, like that's like us losing like $1,000. I don't know. I obviously I have no frame of reference for that, but if I lost $1,000, man, I'd be crying for weeks. But that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.